last summer there was the hearings, like a couple of former Air Force guys. I forget the names of these gentlemen, but I did a whole video
Commander
about that.
Fravor and Ryan Graves.
And because I actually thought about it. I looked at it from an intelligence perspective. Like, what are the odds that we've actually been visited by aliens? And I looked at it from an intelligence perspective, and it wasn't until I thought about oxygen that I actually was kind of shocked. Like a lot of hear me out here. So doing my research for this, and I talked with a lot of scientists doing my research for this one video, and kind of breaking down those hearings, not trying to discredit anyone, but just like looking at it from an intelligence perspective. What is the likelihood that we've actually been visited by aliens? And one of the things I thought of was that, like, well, aliens would know we exist because of our radio signals, right? Well, radio has been propagating for 150 years, ever since Marconi sent that first radio message, right? So they could tell where we are by our radio signals. Maybe. There's something called mass spectroscopy, or transit spectroscopy, where when a planet goes in front of a star, the light from that star will illuminate the kind of chemicals that are in the atmosphere, the kind of elements that are in the atmosphere. And from that, you can actually infer the temperature and the quantity of those elements, but the kinds of light that are blocked. Right? So if you want to get technical, one crazy thing about Earth is that we have oxygen. Now, oxygen is the fourth most common element in the universe. However, oxygen is super reactive. If tomorrow, like, all the plants stopped making oxygen, we would be out of oxygen within like 4,000, 5,000 years. It would all just bond to iron and become rust, right? Iron oxide. So if a planet ever transits a star and aliens have their transit spectroscopy machine pointed at that star, and they go, holy hell, there's oxygen on that star. What the hell's making all this oxygen? They might want to check that out. Now, we've had oxygen on this planet between 2.5, 3.5 since billion years, roughly. So the aliens have had, if they've detected us through going, what the heck's making all this oxygen? Because remember, you constantly have to make oxygen because it's super reactive. It's bonding to everything, right? So they've had, so our planet's what, 5-point-something billion years old? So they've had
A long time
to come here.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the conclusions I came to was that there's almost no chance we've actually been visited by aliens because we'd all be dead.
You think we'd all be dead?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It does because it's safer to kill us. It's safer to kill us than to let us live.
But maybe they don't need to kill us. Maybe we don't matter. Maybe we're just like ants in a jungle. Maybe they just like do what they need to do, and we don't really get in the way of them.
Maybe. I mean, one of the things I talked about in the video I did was one of the reasons people conquer is for religion, right? And just as I was doing this video, there was this new species of tree frog that was found in the jungles of South America.
Yeah, I've heard of this.
I'm sure that the team didn't try to convert it to Catholicism, right? Like, the frog wouldn't understand anyway, right? So, like, there could be aliens that are so advanced that we couldn't even understand their religious philosophies. One of the reasons people, you might say, oh, people, they take over planets or resources. Well, any alien species that would come to Earth, they would, if they needed resources, they could find those resources someplace else. They wouldn't have to come here. There's nothing really that special about Earth. We got a lot of phosphorus, but anyone that has that level of technology could probably figure out how to get phosphorus on their own, right? So yeah, I think there's almost no chance that we've been visited. And the analogy I gave was wine. Did you know that there is a fake wine industry?
I've heard of this.
There are pretentious people, and the Koch brothers are part of this. There's this guy named Rudy, and he's out in California, and he was like passing himself off as like this wealthy, I think it was Filipino or from
It's just that documentary Sour Grapes.
Sour Grapes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw it a long time ago. I can barely remember it.
And, people, so essentially this guy was running around selling fake wine. And he was finally caught when the label of the bottle, like, I have the bottle of Domaine 1945. Well, they didn't make, that particular vineyard didn't make that bottle of wine back then because there had been a war and, the vines were all destroyed and there were no workers.
Right.
So you can't have a bottle. So that bottle can't exist. So I remember when I watched those hearings, kind of the conclusion I came to is that, the wine was fake. So maybe.
Do you think that maybe that this technology that these Navy pilots were seeing was like real like black military technology?
It's a software update. It was just bad software update.
A bad software update?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So, like, if you have, I know you're talking about the Tic Tac video. If you have multiple planes seeing this artifact, it could just be a software thing.
Yeah, because it was right after they upgraded their
I am a software engineer. I know how we make mistakes sometimes.
Well, Ryan said it was right after they upgraded the radar in their jets that they started seeing these things. And he said one of the things they saw was a sphere or a cube inside of a sphere.
Yeah.
And I had a guy on here who pointed out, Steve actually sent you an image of this on Dropbox. There was a patent for something that he described that almost looks identical to what he described. He described that two guys were flying in formation, wing to wing, maybe, I don't know, less than 50 yards apart during some sort of military exercise off the East Coast. And they both saw a sphere inside with a cube inside of it. And then my buddy found this patent. DRFM. Shout out to Jeremy Reese. He found this technology, radar deflector balloons. And that's that picture on the left is what he saw. He said he saw, and this is a patent my buddy found, which is I think those deflector balloons were created and tested before we did the Bay of Pigs to basically like fuck with Cuba's radar and make it like simulate some sort of an invasion and see what they would do.
Yeah, the Russians have those on barges outside the Kerch Strait Bridge. Those radar reflectors.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because their hope is they can't lose that bridge. They lose that bridge. This is probably going to be the year they lose the bridge.
Where's the bridge go to again?
The Kerch Strait Bridge connects Russia with Crimea.
Ah, okay.
And the
Can you
bridge,
pull up a map of this, Steve?
The bridge was attacked. A couple of bridge was attacked 2 years ago, and I want to say in the summer. When did basketball season start? It must have been in October. Yeah, it seems like everywhere I go, every time I go away for something major happens. There was this girl I was seeing at the time. She took me to the home opener, not the home opener. The Wizards were playing the. The Wizards are playing in North Carolina. So they're playing the Charlotte Hornets.
Yep.
And she took me there, got floor seats. It was really nice. Like, I am not a wealthy guy.
Wow.
But...
this is the bridge.
Yeah, the Kerch Strait Bridge. So that was built relatively recently. That's probably 2009.
Can you see it on maps? We can see Crimea, how it connects to Russia.
Yeah.
So you can find it on maps. So that bridge, if you zoom out, you take out that bridge. Yeah, they've talked about building a bridge for a long time. So you take out that bridge, now Crimea has to be replied by ferry or by boat or by air.